Hi, Neil. Oh my God. Hey, Neil.
Hello? How are you?
It's working.
It is brilliant.
Wow. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Oh, getting ready for tonight.
Yeah,
Uh, what I wanted to do, Neil, is that in order to uh, show people how fractals work, maybe we can do a recording like maybe once a week, and we kind of discuss like in general terms for a beginner. It seems that a lot of people um, who sign up and kind of subscribe, uh, they're they're having uh, a difficulty understanding, i.e., a simple fractal. And I
yeah,
thought that if we do, like a discussion, we're talking like in general terms to a beginner, and then they'll appreciate, the value of the fractals that we do every day. And I think that would be kind of helpful for them because they look at our trades and so forth, and they're kind of amazed, but uh, they want to learn like the basics. Uh, what is the fractal? How can I use it? Um, it's like me trying to explain the fractal to my mother,
yeah,
they have no experience or background, and what I want to do is try to offer them, you know, a beginning so they can truly understand what we're doing here, which I think is one of a kind. You're not going to find this anywhere else. And we could just kind of talk in general terms, not to get too sophisticated, and try to learn the basic of what a fractal is and how we how you can use it for trading in any markets. Now, the stuff we've been putting on Telegram, I mean, it's all excellent. I mean, I don't know how you keep up with it every day, every hour. Um, how do you do that?
Oh, I'm always took
Pardon me?
me a while to figure out what fractals were. It didn't come easy, but when it clicks, you start seeing them everywhere.
Okay. Uh, what would you offer as a good beginning for someone who uh, just appeared on Telegram, and how would you um, kind of explain what we're doing from like step one? I mean, what would be your first um, guidance or advice for like new person coming on to Telegram?
I think it's about pattern recognition
Okay,
core, and it's not 100% accurate. You
okay,
sometimes do the patterns sometimes evolve and move, but you can still see the ethos of the pattern because all SAFs are different, but they're kind of all the same. You just have to stretch them out and bend them a little bit. Um, it's not trying not to be too exact,
okay.
but it's certainly a visual art. Nothing
Yeah,
else is required.
I I agree. Is visual because everything is constantly changing, and you can't say that uh, tree is a tree. It could collapse tomorrow, and
Yeah,
that's the end of the tree. Okay. Um, if if my brother, who knows nothing about fractals, and he comes to Telegram and he's trying to understand how to do a trade, what would you say to him?
I think he just has to watch to begin with, and we perhaps go through historical charts and just highlight the SAFs, and this one reversed higher, this one worked out. And I think I was actually on Bitcoin earlier today, just looking back, and there's so many SAFs just pop out at me now, and they're easy to see in hindsight. So I think for a beginner, it's maybe not to maybe start hitting the trade button just yet, is to sort of go back and look at historical charts and start identifying the fractals in hindsight. And when they've got the knowledge of the shapes, they can then start identifying them in real time.
Okay, when good advice. When do you think a person would be confident and ready to actually do a trade, or should they watch for a while?
I think they should certainly watch for a while, you know, because it was completely new to me when I started doing it. It's completely alien to anything else out there. So I think 3 months of sort of dedicated work, doing the homework, recognizing the SAFs in hindsight, and then building up the confidence to recognize them in real time.
I agree. It will not take you overnight, 1 week, 2 weeks, maybe a month.
Yeah.
It's an art form. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to take you time to learn the complex patterns in the fractals because there's not a necessarily a definitive type or group. There are a lot of complex patterns. Sometimes people get a little confused with so many patterns. Which patterns do you think would be safe for a beginner to start examining the fractals? Are there like some simple fractals that I can show my mother?
Yeah. I think the 7 up, 7 down is pretty reliable. Also, the sort of the zigzag ones, where it's like a little zigzag in the middle, that's
Hmm.
quite reliable.
Hmm.
And also the ending triangle, where it's big wave one, wave two, smaller wave three, wave four, wave five. Those are pretty reliable. Um, and if they just get into the habit of drawing fractal bands, that will keep them solvent.
Yeah, you came up with the idea of the fractal bands, where you put one on top and one on the bottom,
Yeah.
and that kind of defines the area of that particular fractal. Uh, that yeah, that is a good trigger point if you know if the fractal is going to continue or if it hesitates and goes the other way down.
Yeah, I think it just means you don't get caught out. You can just use them as your buy and your sell signal, and you're not going to lose a lot of money because if the trade goes wrong, you can exit immediately.
That's the beauty of the fractals because you know immediately, okay, if you kind of misjudged it and you're wrong,
Yeah,
you know, hey, okay, something's happening here. It's time to exit, move on.
yeah. So I think that's a good idea.
Okay, and then uh, again, if you can't find a fractal on one market, you can always go to another market, right?
Yeah. I think also I'd say that start in the longer frequencies and then just go, say, weekly, can't see anything, go to daily, can't see anything, go to maybe the 4 hour and keep on going until you get to maybe the 5 minute, 2 minute, 1 minute, which is really for your scalpers.
I agree. It appears the fractal methodology is like from top down. You go
Yeah.
from the large all the way down to the bottom, and at the bottom, that's where all the fractals appear, I think, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the shorter frequencies are very good for the students because they can see the fractals develop in real time and then they can see the reversals without having to trade. They can just watch and start picking up the shapes and how they evolve.
Okay, I think that would be a good beginning for students or
Yeah.
anybody who jumps into Telegram.
Yeah.
We could probably do more conversations there and try to help them out. But uh, what would your advice be for some someone who's uh, wants to subscribe, or a new student, or someone that pops up on the Telegram or the website
Yeah.
or on YouTube that have videos? I'm on Twitter. What would good advice would be for them to begin examining and applying the fractals?
I would say pick 3 or 4 SAFs or sliders and just start scanning the frequencies for these particular fractals. And when you see one, pin it with fractal bands and watch it evolve. Likewise, go back and look at historical charts, just looking for 3 or 4 SAFs, see where they develop, draw fractal bands, see the ones which rally, the ones which reverse. It's quite simple, but it takes a lot of time um, to get into the mindset of identifying them and thinking about how they're going to develop. Because I can now look at a chart and I can see a SAF top developing before it becomes a SAF top. I just know that structure is forming. And sometimes it evolves into something else, but it gives you an advantage over other market participants.
Okay, in your investment experience, have you found anything quite like what we're doing? How would you rank our fractal methodology compared to other uh, methods of reading?
I discovered Elliott wave principle about 20 years ago, and I was fascinated by it. And I think fractals is the next extension because Elliott wave theory is linear, is very much fitting the market to a map, where one of your famous quotes is don't fit the market to a map, map the market. Fractals are dynamic, they change, and you have to constantly monitor that. But once a fractal is identified, it is fixed. It can't change, and you apply the fractal bands, and then you know where the market's going, up or down. Don't go to the don't go to the market with an opinion, which is very difficult to do. Just wait for the fractal to develop, and then take it from there.
I agree. You have to enter the market with an open mind and can't say, well, this is going to happen. Uh, that life doesn't work that way, or nature doesn't work that way. There's always, a wind appearing, a cloud appearing, and then, the sun is out. Well, then you have a thunderstorm, and the same with the market too. Uh, I don't think you can enter with an opinion saying, well, this is going to happen.
Yeah,
It doesn't work that way in life. And it certainly doesn't work with all these people and traders, on the floor,
yeah,
investors making decisions. Um, it's very difficult to make a decision unless you have a lot of evidence behind yourself to make that decision. Because if you make a decision, there's always that possibility that, it's going to be wrong. You may lose money. So again, that's a good point. You can't you need to have an open mind. If you have a closed mind, and you're really um, adhering to a particular system or point of view, you may be disappointed.
definitely. And um, the another good point is the fractals are dynamic. You have to constantly monitor them over all frequencies, which is hard work but rewarding. I've seen so many systems, they're back tested, they work, and then all of a sudden the model stops working.
Hmm.
Where you can go back decades and still find fractals across all frequencies, all assets, all instruments, and they constantly work. So that's another advantage of the fractal methodology.
How long have you been trading fractals with me or on your own? You've been doing that for a long time, haven't you?
Probably about 15 years I have been part of, as I've been doing the fractals. As I said before, initially Elliott wave theory, and then your services were recommended in the Elliott wave theorist. And I think I joined 2008, 2009.
Oh,
And
that's a long
took them.
time.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, today's what, New Year's Eve, so I thank you for your input. And I think other people will appreciate it, and maybe we can do some more discussions in the future and help out the um, new traders, new investors when they come on board. So I thank you for your time, and I wish you and everybody Happy New Year. Be safe and sound. And, we'll be here every day, 24 hours a day, covering most of the major markets. And if we can't find one, we'll find another one for you. And I thank you for all your work. And Happy New Year, Neil. And we'll do some more of these fire chats in the future. Okay.
and same to you. Very happy New Year, Hank.
Happy New. Okay, Neil. Talk to you later.
And
Good
you.
night.
Thanks.
Okay. Night.